I mean, me saying I have to think of an intro doesn't mean y'all can just state one, but you could if you want.
Dice,
If you
dice,
say
and
it out
more
loud, it
dice.
implies you're taking suggestions.
No, I was just letting y'all do an intro, and everyone was just silent.
I said hi, chat.
You did, but everything was muted at that point.
Yeah.
Also, thanks for the raid,
there was
Grandma.
nothing coming through yet.
I can turn off my Switch now.
I don't have to watch Legend anymore. Um,
I don't have to watch Legend anymore. It's the correct way to do that.
Also, Grandma, I'll get you a game before you the next time you stream.
Yeah, you got a week.
Yeah.
Get 7 days to
Yay.
die. I mean, time to launch game.
There.
UDM is currently not hosting a game session.
You're right. I'm not.
Then.
I'm not using that the D&D Beyond Maps feature. It not until they upgrade it, and then at that point, I need to get a refund for every single fucking minute sitting at my table. Which I won't be getting, so I'm not gonna do. So, just a few notes before we start. Primarily because I thought of it, I needed to say it. Um, just a rules note, something that I found online that I like because I want to use abilities that do it, and it sucks. Stun sucks for y'all because we take a little bit for combat no matter what. So as opposed to just like stunning one of you and just you being like, all right, well,
Right.
that's up to 40 minutes and I'm just not doing anything. We're going to be using the dazed condition, which is one. It's based on Baldur's Gate 3. So anything that stuns now will daze until I decide, unless I decide that some point where I decide daze just isn't good enough, or it's to something like at this point, stunned will be dazed. What dazed does is if you become dazed, you cannot use reactions. You have a disadvantage on attack and spell rolls. You can only use half your movement. You have disadvantage on wisdom, strength, and dexterity checks and saves. If you're casting a leveled spell, you must make a wisdom 10 save throw, or the spell just fails. At the end of your turn, you get to make a wisdom 15 save throw. If you succeed, you're not dazed anymore. If you don't, you're still dazed. The dazed, though, will have a ending period. So if something says stun for a minute, you'll be dazed for a minute. So after the minute, you're no longer dazed.
Why is everything gotta be wisdom saving, dude?
Because the wizards want to also recover from things.
Yeah. It also makes sense for like, you got your head rattled. Think about it.
But everything is.
I mean, it could also be an int save that I would only have like a +8 on that.
Yeah, so I didn't do it like wisdom. The two that I was going between was wisdom and constitution, and since it very specifically is you got bonked on the head, that's why I went with
Make
wisdom.
a constitution. That'd be great.
Constitution does actually make more sense, but whatever.
Yeah, let's go with constitution.
So I'm going back and forth on that. That might be something I change at one point. If I change it, I'll let you know. Right now, it's going to be wisdom.
Or?
That seems too easy to break out of. I think wisdom for the spell is correct. I don't think that will change. It might be a con save to break out of it at the end of a turn, but that's something I'll think about for a little bit.
Like, I don't know, wisdom if it's magically induced and con if it's physically induced.
That's too much bookkeeping for me. It's going to be one or the other. I'll figure that out later.
Bonk him on the head.
I'm just trying to give Cal less wisdom saves.
This is fair.
Yes,
you always do wisdom
I only get
saves.
+1.
I mean, at least you
I
don't
have
get
plus
-0.
+0. You don't see me complaining.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to make them every session 5 times, okay?
I'm not complaining.
Look, sometimes you just really shouldn't be there.
It's my job to be there.
I'll figure out.
most of the wisdom
Yeah.
saves that you had to do were just based on you be like, I want to do stuff with pillar.
Listen, it was a good idea, okay?
D-Train's
Most of
asking
them
if
were
you can
self-infected.
get, D-Train's asking
Everyone's
if you can get a some cliff notes.
everyone's character is supposed to be bad at something. We don't have to complain if you're bad at something. Just roll with it.
Correct.
Literally, roll with it.
Yeah. Clip note D-Train. Instead of being stunned, you'll be dazed. If you're dazed, you can still get to do something, as opposed to doing nothing.
Daze means you are slow and confused instead of stunned, which means that you are crippled and incapable of doing anything for 10 combat cycles.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just like disadvantage on like everything, right?
Yeah. It's disadvantage on any attacks, and it's disadvantage on, like, the things that make sense for, like, your body's sort of confused, and, like, you're sort of out of it.
Basically everything but skill checks from what I'm reading.
It affects the skill checks for strength, dexterity, and wisdom.
Oh, okay.
But let's be honest, those are not the skill checks you're using when you're dazed. I mean, strength you might be, but dexterity you might
I
be.
don't know. I'm still gonna try to fight people.
This is fair. You're allowed, but you're allowed to as opposed to not.
I
Grandma,
think-
did you
wait,
do
I'm-
the
I
recap that I
think-
sent you?
yeah, but
Okay.
I had issues with it, so I have like a few different versions.
Did you need me earlier and I wasn't around?
Nah, it was just I had issues with it not because of the text or anything, but the program not working.
Aw.
And I was like, how? Well, so I have one version which is just a text-to-speech voice. I have one version that is the thing that it's supposed to, but it sounds a bit weird in my opinion because it goes up and down and up and down and the
I
tone.
I will let you decide which of the two you want to play, and I will
And then
figure out a
there's
reason.
the third one,
God.
which is very quiet. And I was
And then
like,
there's the fourth
yeah.
one where Will or Controlia sends Will the recap text and he just fucking wings it and we all
Huh?
get a good laugh.
What?
Let's do that.
Huh? I didn't consent to this.
Gr-
Huh?
So I'm tempted to
I'm
ask
not-
Roll
Hippo
with
to
some
choose a number
save.
1 through 4.
I
Roll
am
D4.
not using my Pebble reading voice for this.
This is fine. Who
Pebble weeding.
you'll
Nor
see?
had
am
to be
I
there.
reading this.
That's fair. You'll have to read something later, Will. Play which one you want,
Sure.
Grandma.
Alright, I'll play the one that's the loudest.
Okay. God.
Legend.
After the recap, Zatsu.
Okay.
Beyond repose and tranquility, only Bedlam stood. Bound by barriers and obligation uncraved, the hesitant plasmoid suplex obliged, and once more stood before his juvenile adversary. From within his satchels, creatures were withdrawn to duel in the arena before them. With the succor of Trixie and Calidor, Suplex hoped to quicken their escape. But the immature scion summoned beasts of greater number with victory in his eyes. Drawn by the siren's song from a beyond Kender, Hippo revealed a path forward unaccompanied by the remainder of the luckless lot. As the stone gates parted, the underdog denizen was confronted by a retriever, which barreled beyond and ensnared his automaton ally Arcalcos. With scrimmages on multiple fronts, the allurement was too great, drawing the gift of isolation. Succeeding in their multiple battles, the green-cloaked beastmaster sheepishly retreated. Champions made haste after their withdrawn wizard. Having been halted by the Spriggan and adolescents of Seven Falls, Hippo set safely upon a shroomed stump. Still drawn northward, deeper within the darkness the band bound. At the end of their path, pulsing with magic from an untold source, was raised the warhammer. Triumphant resolute champion, Suplex bested the musette of Duergar, claiming the motto of authenticity. drawn back from whence they came. The batch of bizarre specimens was guided by the scent of greed. Through the tunnels, driven by a desire for escape, their path led them to a cavern of foliage they had not seen since their surface days. Shrub and conifer of lee and greenery, the darkness was elevated by a warmth within the darkness. Hanging within a village long deserted, the fey knight was drawn to a hilt of timber, held aloft by vines. Reaching forward cautiously, the vines retracted, the sword easily pulled free. The first vestige of Zenobia was found.
When the recap reveals something that we weren't told last session. Okay.
There's been
It
a number
happens.
of times
Any of that.
where the recap has revealed things that you didn't know.
Vestige of Zenobia. Okay.
I mean, it also said that the thing was apparently called a retriever, and I was like, huh, that's what that is.
I didn't get
Spider
that, yeah.
thingy.
I
I mean, the problem is that the thing kind of went up and down and up and down, and I spoke at the same tone. I was like, yeah, this thing is not really working well. So I just recorded it again and recorded it again, and in the end I was so tired and sick of it that I just used my sound pad and was like, text to speech go. That's the last version I made. I was like, it's gonna work, but I didn't use that one.
That's funny.
So as you've drawn this blade and you examine it and you're able to tell that it had a number of charges within it. As well as being able to tell there were some number of spells connected to it. And that it did require attunement. You're able to pull the blade out, and as you examine it more, Xenia, you're able to determine that at its current power, it has 5 charges, 4 of which can be used to cast Daylight. Also, whenever you cast a leveled spell other than Daylight, you will roll a d20. On an 18 through 20, you expend one of the unspent charges, and then you will regain that spell slot that you just used, but take a d12 plus 1 for the level of the spell. So d12 plus 1 damage to yourself for a level 1 spell, 2d12 plus 2 for level 2, and so forth.
Can we get this written somewhere?
It's on
It
the sword.
is.
What?
It's on the sword itself.
He put the thing in my inventory. I see
Yeah.
it.
It is written on doc sheet. That makes sense.
It makes sense, and also, I love how good Xenia is at looking at that sword instead of having Calcus be like, oh yes, identify.
I identified
So
it. in
he
the last
identified it, which
session.
is why I'm willing to give all this information. I gave the number of charges and the fact there were some spells. I hadn't decided exactly what everything's going to do yet, so I didn't give the other information. So I want to make sure that you were aware of the other information that I should have given you last time, but I didn't have the sword yet.
Is this regain a slot for damage forced? It is written like it is.
Yes.
Okay.
You spend a spell slot, you roll a d20. On 18 through 20, you regain that spell slot, but you take that damage.
You don't get to choose if you want to regain that spell slot or not. If
Yeah.
you roll that, you gain it.
I don't know why people were trying to complain about the item that I have not complained about.
It's less complaint, more
It's legend.
curious.
Yeah.
It's
D12
legend. He's
plus
the
1
artificer.
per
He wants to
spell
know
level.
how things work.
And again, once after this identification, you were confronted by a ghostly fae. No, it chose you.
What?
The sword. It chose you.
What?
It's
I
just
don't
a
know. He's right. He
sword.
kind of just presented itself to you, right?
I guess.
Well, you wouldn't have been able to draw it if it didn't choose you.
Is this your sword? Who
It
are you?
was me. I'm. And you see her sort of look off into the distance. Oh, hello.
Wait. I'll follow his gaze, I guess. Where's he looking?
So it's a she.
Oh, she.
Yeah, she. That's fine. Oh, I didn't say that. She's just sort
I
of
didn't.
looking
would
off
have
towards
sworn
y'all.
you said he last session, but
I.
you've made up your mind now.
It's intended to be a she. I'm sorry if I said he. She's just sort of staring at y'all. Just, how are y'all? Just,
I don't know. I'm a little beat up, but I'm doing all right.
Confused.
oh, it's all right. I'm sure we can find you something to do. And you see her sort of float off towards a one of the houses and sort of move through the wall and come out with just. You hear things moving. It's like, no, I can't find any food in here. And she comes out. It's like, oh, hello. How are you?
Should we tell her?
Something seems a little off with this one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of normal.
Can you tell me what you had for breakfast this morning?
Oh, for breakfast, I had this wonderful little omelet with so many herbs and spices. Oh, that was wonderful.
Uh-huh. And the day before?
And she pauses. She looks down. Oh, I had this wonderful omelet with herbs and spices. It was wonderful.
Yes.
The house she went into, is it just like a normal house looking thing?
It's
Is it
it's
on
a
board?
it's a normal. It look well normal. It is made from almost the roots of a tree, creating a hut. If you
If
look
there's a
into it,
visible door, Cal's gonna peek inside.
so there's no door. Yeah, it's there's no door. It's just wide open. It reminds you a
Okay.
lot of the houses from the fairy village of Lorwyn. When you look
I
inside,
mean, you have a ghost fairy that doesn't know that she's dead.
if you look
I'm-
inside the house, you see a what looks to be probably at one point a bed, but there's no matting on it, there's no straw on it, anything like that. You see what probably was a table, but it's sort of leaning, looks like it's been there for a while. There's nothing else in here. It's fairly bare.
Hmm.
Now that it's pretty obvious she's just a ghost with a very loose grip on reality, I'm gonna pop Divine Sense to see if she's the only one around here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's definitely the only one. Yes.
Okay.
So, we gonna tell her, or
When
Is
was
it-
the last time you saw
I-
someone down
Is
here?
it our place to tell her though?
And he looks around
It
and goes,
is.
oh, I see people every day. I got to speak with the queen the other day. She's really nice. Her cousin apparently is going to have a child. It's so sweet.
Have I seen any sign of this ghost being able to interact with physical objects?
So you didn't see what she did when she went inside the house. But she has not touched anything yet. Since you've seen her.
I'm gonna pull out, I don't know, some random low value object, an empty vial, that works, and just say, hey, can you hold this?
Of course. And she puts her hands out.
I give her the vial,
It drops and shatters.
as expected.
She goes, oh, I'm a Butterfingers. I really am. I'm sorry.
Don't worry
Oh.
about it. Can you tell us anything about this sword? It seems pretty neat.
Yes.
It said it was yours. Is it really okay if I take it?
Oh, of course. Dawnrender was great use. And then all the times that she trails off and she sort of looks around. Oh, hello, how are you?
Can I walk up to her and just stick my hand through her?
Oh, that tickles. And she sort of waves at your hand a little bit and then she moves away.
Okay.
Yes, we're doing fine. It was nice meeting you. We found the sword. I think you said a second ago that you were just waiting for someone to take it off your hands. Yeah, we're in a bit of a rush. We're gonna be going now.
Oh, did Joseph send you?
In a way.
That's a loaded question.
So about us leaving, we could stick around a little bit. What's this about, Joseph?
Oh, he always said he'd make sure to send someone. He was always so
Aha.
sweet. He liked to build things that exploded, though.
Yes.
Sounds
Anyways, we'll be
normal.
going now. Nice meeting you.
No, I'm sorry, Miss. What is your name?
Oh, my name? And she pauses and she just sort of, again, her face just goes blank and just, oh, hello, how are you?
Yeah. I just wanted to know your name, ma'am.
Oh, my name is Riss. R-Y,
Yes.
R-H-Y-S.
I was pronouncing it Reese in my head.
Reese.
Hold,
but
I'm sorry,
hold,
Reese.
hold. My brain of brains. When I saw the 6, there was a fairy with them,
The
right?
6?
No, this. I'm asking you
Oh, yes,
about
there
my
was a fairy
vision.
with them.
Okay. Yeah, who's got the Book of Thrawn?
No.
I usually do. If there's something you need, I can give it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Thrawn, like, hey, do you know who this Reese person is by chance?
So as you pull the book, I was like, oh, I recognize that. Did you know Thrawn?
In a way.
Kind of.
You want to talk to him?
It's complicated.
Oh no, I threw a rock at him last time I saw him. He wasn't very happy with me.
Mm-hmm. Or
You know, I'm sure he's forgiven you by now. You want to
I don't
talk
have-
to him? Make up?
Oh
I don't
sure,
know
I'd
how
be
to tell
glad
you
to.
this, but,
Where is he?
um,
I guess
I
I
don't know
have
how
the
to-
book. I hold it up.
What are you saying, Zatsu?
I don't know how to tell you this, but yeah, you're dead.
Roll persuasion.
Oh.
I was gonna let Thrawn do that, but okay.
Guys, what's the play here? She forgets in 30 seconds.
yeah.
I mean, not
And she
really.
does not believe me.
And you say
Well-
it, and she goes, "Oh, that's silly. I can't be dead." See, and she shoves her hand through her own like stomach, and then pulls out. It's like, "See, I wouldn't be able to do that if I was dead."
Right.
Right.
So,
I do
so
that
yeah,
every day.
just hold the book facing open towards her and say, "Yeah, here he is. You can talk to him."
Oh,
As
hello,
I look at
book.
her, my eyes
And she
just
sort of like
twitching.
waves at it, sort of sillily.
You might want to ask Thrawn something for the book to actually
So
start writing.
so yeah, Miss. This is Thrawn. Thrawn, say hi.
And see, she was like, "Hey, Thrawn." It's like, "So you call the book Thrawn?" She goes, "Nice, Thrawn." You see her sort of pet at the book. Roll perception, Kaladar.
This one. I'm real good at perceiving things.
Y'all are really good at
You,
perceiving
you see her sort of
things.
pet the book. From the, like she sort of pats the front pages of the book.
Yeah.
Who has passive perception above 16 or 16 or above? I guess I should say.
I do.
Yeah.
The two
I
wizards,
have, I
or
have
is that
16.
Yeah.
okay? The three of you notice as she pets the book, the page seems to come off as she pulls her hand back.
Mm.
Ah. So it's on the page.
Currently, the page is blank. You see for a moment, and there's ellipses at the top, but there's no words beyond that.
Well,
Well, we gotta be going now.
Oh, you're gonna leave? That's fine.
Hold on a second. Um, something just feels off about this sword.
like
It's like
I'm just
there's
gonna say to the group, like, guys, I'm pretty sure this is one of the 6, like from the past. So
I kind of agree with you, Kaladar.
Oh, one of the they were kind of like folk heroes. It was the sextet.
yeah, I said in my visions before, I saw a fairy with them once, and I think this is the fairy.
It's kind of unfortunate she turned out like this, but
Yeah.
I don't know. She seems to be content, as
I
content as you can be with a memory span of 30 seconds.
I don't think we should leave her like this. It just kind of seems a little sad.
I don't think I
I
have
don't.
anything that can help.
Yeah, I
I
don't think there's
mean,
all too much we can do.
I have her vivified, but I don't even know if that would work because of how long she's
No.
been dead.
I think this is
If
a
you-
wish or bust type of situation.
So, if you want to get rid of a ghost, you need to make them aware that they're a ghost, and then you need to find why they're still a ghost, why they're not leaving the material plane behind. You
was
just
kind of
need to
hoping.
find out what's holding them back, and making them realize that they're dead is the first step in that process.
Oh, you
Kinda
got like a
hoping
ghost manual
Thrawn.
somewhere, Trixie? Let me see that.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping Thrawn could do that since they knew each other. But he seems to be pretty quiet right now.
You don't want to talk, I guess.
I'll
We also
go
haven't
touch
asked
the
him
pillar
anything.
again.
Can I?
I mean, maybe you actually just exhausted him by touching the pillar and him having to save you.
What if I just shot
Yeah.
her with a cantrip? Firebolt.
I don't think that's a great idea. It's pretty rude.
I mean, it would go right through her,
I have an
Um,
idea that might or might not help.
wouldn't it? Wouldn't it go right through her?
It depends. You know,
Maybe.
ghosts sometimes ghosts switch between the two realms. So you can hit a ghost when they're in the right sphere, and you can always see them.
Yeah,
So
I
you
mean,
don't know if you can hit them or not until you try it.
Wait, I'm not.
What's your idea, Doc?
I'm gonna. I have a weird idea that maybe her body is somewhere around here. So can I have Phoebe sniff the sword and see if she can use it to track it down?
Sure.
That's a decent idea.
Have Phoebe roll a perception.
Advantage because
Sniff.
smell. I think it's I'll double check her sheet real quick. That's a 8 plus 3.
As Phoebe
So
sort of
it's an
sniffs it,
11.
I'll flash of genius that to 15.
as Phoebe sort of
Wait,
comes
it's
out,
not
starts
15.
sniffing the
8 plus 3 plus 4.
As Phoebe comes out, starts
That is
sniffing the
it.
sword, she goes, "Oh, what a cute little puppy."
Yeah, she is, isn't she?
Phoebe starts sniffing around, and are y'all following Phoebe, or are you just sort of letting her go?
I mean, I definitely will. Yeah.
You see her
Nah.
start the Fey ghost start floating behind you, and you can, if you pay attention, you can see that she is flapping her wings, and she seems to be going up and down based on how quickly they flap. Though it's not clear whether it's just a memory of this is how the way that she's supposed to work, or if it's actually there's something about her wings movement that is keeping her particular height. She is about the same size as you, Xenia. And you can tell that she actually appears to be wearing some sort of light armor. As she follows you around, as she sort of sniffs around, she comes up upon a large, almost palace-like wooden structure, very similar to where Queen Una had stayed. And she sort of sniffs in and then turns and sort of goes off to the left, circling, almost hugging the wall. As you come up, there is a section of the wall where you can see a number of, best described as tombstones, made of small saplings. They appear to be almost, they're definitely saplings, but they appear to be slightly wider than normal saplings, with not carvings on the front, but almost as though the branches curved into words. Um,
Legible
imagine.
words?
Any of them read her name, Reese?
So none of them read Reese. They read other names. Phoebe sort of sniffs at them, but there definitely is some connected spell between the stumps and the sword. As Phoebe starts to move past them, you can see Reese sort of pause at them. Oh, it looks like someone passed away. But I don't remember anyone dying.
What did you used to do here?
I was the guardian. I had to make sure that everyone was safe. Especially after... Oh, what a cute puppy!
Yeah, I'll keep.
So, the identify text says that I would be aware of any spells affecting the sword, and you are implying that there is a spell affecting the sword and the branches. Do I get to know that spell, or are you overruling this?
So the sword is able to cast daylight. There's no additional spell that you can tell affecting the sword itself. The branches just seem to be magical in general.
Okay.
As Phoebe sort of wanders beyond the initial tombstones, she gets around towards what seems like it could be the back of this fairly large palace, all these roots, and you notice there's a split in the roots where it looks like it's a door. Um, as she starts advancing, you can see Reese tilting her head, looking at it strangely, almost with eyes of a mixture of curiosity and memory. As you enter in this opening, you can see what appears to be silk from the ceiling to the floor. At the top, it is very close together, but sort of opens up almost as to a much wider basin. It covers the floor, and there's a definite section where you can pull apart the front of the sheets near where the front of the castle was. Um, Behind it there is just simply another small sapling. This one doesn't has its branches off just to the right, and the top is almost flat. It's tilted, almost as though you would place a book on it. And there
Like
is
a lectern or something?
like a, let me check what a lectern is.
It's like a podium.
Yes,
Basically.
like a lectern, but made from a stump, or made from a sapling that's connected. Imagine the deku shrub with the top of it just being a lectern.
If there's, it looks specifically like it's meant to hold a book, I'm gonna put the book of Thrawn on that while we have it.
I was gonna do that. I assume I still had it.
As you put the Book of Thrawn on, you can see a moment um reach out and then pull back and cover her mouth just slightly. I remember this place. I'm not supposed to be here.
Where are you supposed to be?
And then there's a pause, and you can see her sort of biting her lip as she moves her hands. I was supposed to help, but I was mad at Thrawn.
Seems to be a pretty common thing.
What did he do to you?
Well, there was Miss I don't want to talk about it.
That's fine.
Well,
We stopped, and then you can see a pause, and she sort of her eyes glaze over slightly, and then she snaps back and looks at you, and then sees the lectern again. We did stop him, but there was more. Thrawn insisted that the pillars were important. But I never understood why they were used to. And then she once again her face just sort of glazes over.